そうだ。僕がキラだ。
Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well, all things considered, of course. I've known this for a very long time, I think, subconsciously at least, but it's only in the past few years when I've actually accepted that humor itself is the saddest emotion we have. It's literally the saddest emotion that human beings can express, right? Yes. Yeah, my cat's just being petulant today. Um, Humor itself, like, humor isn't happiness. We find humor in certain things, right? Humor is mainly it's the mode in which we laugh at things that we really shouldn't even be laughing at in the first place necessarily. And that's why you see a lot of comedians, like, they either have like really fucked up backstories or they become really fucked up the more their career progresses. And because of their trauma, because what is it? Uh-huh. Because of their trauma, they can literally make people just laugh like literally make like somebody like somebody like who? Okay, I really like Dave Chappelle. I haven't really read too much about his life, but I'm sure if I did, it's probably gonna be something fucked up for sure, right? His type of humor has aged really well, right? His humor has his style of comedy has grown with him. There's things that he said okay, the thing about this fucking generation, right? They can't let the times that have gone be the times that have gone, right? It's always like, yes, things that happened in the past have affected us right now, right? But at the same time, a piece of art, a piece of music, a piece of literature, uh, you know, even a comedy skit, stuff like that, right? It is telling of the time and place and the cultural settings which allowed it to take place, right? When you take that thing, that piece of I mean, just look at Disney movies, for example, right? Disney and Disney programs still has such a fucking hold on so many people today. Just go and look up Disney animations or Disney cartoons in the 1930s, right? These things are a emblematic of the time and place in which we live, right? And it's so fucked up how easy it is to go like somebody says something you don't like if a celebrity says something that you personally don't like, you now take hours of your day to go through their past tweets from like the past 10 years to pull up some shit he said 10 fucking years ago, right? It would be funny if it contradicts them now or if it makes them look bad. People grow, right? If it's somebody who pretends to be holier than thou or whatever like that, yeah, I guess it's good to like point it out, right? Depending on how far back it is. But like, I've seen some where they'll pull up tweets from people who are like People who were like, I don't know, 15 or 16, right? And they've become like celebrities now, but they were posting that shit when they were like 15 and like, look at what he said. Look how homophobic or transphobic or fucking fatphobic this person was, or racist. And it's like they were a fucking idiot. Yes. And it's not like, yeah, yeah, when you're 15, you kind of know these things exist, but they were edgy fucking idiots. Not an excuse. It's just that's why they did it, right? If they're like, okay, yeah, I realize now that was wrong, and I wouldn't say something like that unless you're trying to establish a pattern in which they're still doing it now. Okay, fine. But this generation is so, and I think it's because of the absence of religion. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that more and more people are leaving this shit, right? And this is like a transition period in between. So I would like to believe that there are more constructive ways to the good parts of religion are the good parts of humanity. It's plain and simple. When a religion tells you not to kill or not to steal, like, bro, you, without any sort of religion, if you were just like to pop like 3 4 humans in one place and they just started stealing and killing from each other, like stealing from one another and killing each other, right? You'd have to pretty much say early on, like, yeah, maybe still, like, take somebody's stuff and they're gonna be like, why'd you take my stuff, Like, I don't think there's a culture anywhere that's just like okay with, like, if someone comes in and steals your shit, you just be like, oh, I guess they stole my shit. Okay, you're gonna feel some type of way if they kill you, if they do all this kind of stuff. Like this, these are things. These are the golden rules, right? So, in that absence of like essentially totalitarianism, right, which is essentially how religion runs its shit, people have now embraced shunning and exiling in a way that most humans have never embraced it before because they didn't have Twitter, right? In its place, they've brought, like, cancel culture has always existed. Do not be deceived. It has always been there. And religion, again, has been the biggest perpetrator of cancel culture. Literally, like, you don't follow this commandment, we'll literally kill you. Like, is that not cancel culture? I would say that's even worse than the cancel culture that exists right now. Although to claim how enlightened we are, and yet you can cancel somebody for some random ass dumbass tweet that they said 10 years ago, and it's like, if you dug into your own past, you'd probably find similar shit or even worse things that you said, right? And it seems like the things we find funny now, the thing is, like, now you're only allowed to find certain things funny, right? You're only allowed to find certain jokes funny, certain like government approved jokes to laugh at. Oh, you can't make fun of these. Oh, you can't make fun of them. Oh, you can't make. Oh, they're a marginalized group. You can't make fun of them. And it's that in itself is actually bigotry, because I'm like, man, my life is a fucking joke. If you can make me laugh about my fucking life, please go ahead. It's it's created such a and it's such a insincere type of concern. It's like the fakest sort of concern, like, oh, you can't make fun of that. Like, humor is something that we had to fucking develop as a species to be able to cope with the fucked up things that we've seen, right? If if somebody makes a dead baby joke or a rape joke or a joke about, like, Pete Davidson, the SNL guy, the guy who was dating Kim Kardashian, I guess. Uh, his dad was like a firefighter during 9/11, and he died, right? He died doing being a firefighter in 9/11 when he was really young, and that obviously fucking traumatized him, right? So growing up and then becoming a comedian, he literally references his dad. Fuck, man, like, he literally references 9/11 and his dad dying pretty much in every other skit, a comedic skit that he makes, right? Is it wrong for him to do that? Of course not. It's obviously his coping mechanism. Is it wrong for us to find it funny? I don't think so, because if we find it funny, that means his message has gotten to us in a way that we can all partake in it, right? Without having to, I don't know, constantly cry and mourn about it necessarily. It is a way of him mourning, I guess, right? but it's a way that we can all, I don't want to say socially acceptable, because yes, it is, yeah, I guess a socially acceptable way, yeah, it's literally a socially acceptable way for us to all laugh at tragedy, massive tragedies, right? And like even looking at the basic definition of humor itself, it says the quality of being amusing or comic, especially as expressed in literature or speech, right? The other definition is a mood or a state of mind. The quality of being amusing or comic, yes, but amusing or comic about what, Like, there's people who make dad jokes, and I fucking love dad jokes. I really do. There's people who make, I don't know, jokes about airport food, or my nagging wife. That one, guys. Yeah, yeah. There's people who literally make jokes about, oh yeah, I don't know. There's people who make fart jokes. There's people like there's Amy Schumer. Like if you're into that kind of shit, and yeah, you can absolutely decide what is funny and what is not because it's literally fucking up to personal taste. Literally up to personal taste. That's how it is, right? And that's what I love so much about humor because it exposes the rot in society. It exposes the things that we are so complacent with that we find it funny when it's delivered to us in a more not even a subtle way, but in a socially acceptable way that we can laugh about it, right?
I was like, damn, nigga, what you doing out here with all this ass? Double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, hella ass. The sun is still out, my nigga. And it was just, I don't know, man.
If you make oh yeah, that's the guy, Russell Peters, right? He pretty much all of the time he's just making jokes about he makes ethnic jokes and I fucking love them. Like he jokes about Indians because he's originally Indian. He jokes about like Muslims. He jokes about like South Africans. Literally everybody, right? And he his style of comedy just shows that like yeah, especially, and it's so funny because he's like there's one joke he came up with where he's like he brought up Muslims and then immediately he's like he was joking about how Muslims don't have a sense of humor and like they do. uh they generally do. It depends, like it literally depends, but like generally, like especially when it comes to like most other like religions can have their religion satirized and there'll be, yeah, of course there'll be complaints, yeah, but most people will just be like, okay, yeah, either you find it funny or you get butthurt. But like Muslims will like fucking blow shit up just because you uh I don't know, you made them think or something, that kind of stuff, right? That kind of stuff. And it's it's gotten to such a point where we completely veered off the point of humor. And I honestly believe that a lot of people just go through life, like me personally, I just go through life laughing at shit now. Because there's no way I'm getting involved in trying to fucking change or revolt or do all that. Okay, me, like my existence right now is essentially like a revolt, right? In the sense that I just don't comply with like 19, like I'll pay taxes, sure, of course. I'll pay my bills, I pay for stuff I use. Outside of that, I don't see the point in interacting with people at all. I don't see the point in stomaching that bullshit. Like I'll just keep quiet and let them talk. But like if they're addressing it directly at me, I'll just tell them the fucking truth, right? But most of the time I'm just laughing at shit because what the fuck else is there to do, really? But it's created a complacency. It's complacency. That's the problem that I have with it. Because me, I can say I'm laughing at this shit because I know I'm never gonna bring a kid into this fucking madness. But other people are laughing and they'll still bring kids into this fucking madness, and then they'll teach them how to laugh at it. When it's like, what the fuck was the point? Literally, what the fuck was the point? Right? You could pick up like an ancient script from like I don't know, an ancient Greek play or something, or an ancient Roman theater play, and like some of the jokes will literally make you laugh because it's like what the fuck, these are people who are not that far uh separated from us. Yes, by time, but I mean, in terms of the experiences we have, interpersonal experiences that we have, it's more or less the same. Like it's literally like, yeah, you know, somebody has a different title or a different position, whatever, but it's still the same thing. And what does that tell you exactly, right? What does that tell you? Life hasn't fucking changed that much. We just have technology that makes us feel like we're living in a fucking sci-fi film, but it hasn't changed that much. Like, if you could be able to tell a king in like the 14th century or the 16th century, or even in the fucking 19th century, okay, let's say 18th century, that in a few hundred years, people will be talking through metal boxes and be flying in metal boxes and be moving from one place to another in metal boxes, and they'll be working in like big fucking concrete boxes, like all like sardines. They'd probably think you're a witch or something. Literally. They literally think you were like, I was just talking with some of my friends about how for us growing up in the 2000s, to have a PS1 was the fucking peak of your existence as a child. Like, your friends would just gather around all that, like just playing the shitty fucking graphic Crash Bandicoot or like Tekken or what are the other ones? Like, whatever your flavor of game was, you know exactly what made you like so attached to that PS1. You know, you had the Game Boy Colors, the Game Boy Advances, the Segas, yeah, even like a few computer games. Like, what was it called? Billiard? No, pinball. Yeah, pinball. Yeah. And fucking solitaire. And like, even just having those few types of games and then still being able to play outside and play with one another, like to kick up, to go play sports, to go just, you know, you can play outside, then come play inside, then come play outside and play inside, you know? Even to have like a fucking big ass block of a phone with a fucking antenna was just amazing to us. Now, like, I literally see my young nephews, all, it's one of the fucking, it fucks my mind up every time I see it. Like, they come over, they'll sit on the table, and all three of them will be in front of a screen, literally a laptop or an iPad. They just lined up. Like, how the fuck did we go so wrong? How the fuck did we go so wrong in society? Like, I didn't even get my laptop till I was like 16, and I had to be like top of the fucking class to be able to do that. That was the only condition. Like, I had to literally top the class. I wasn't even expecting to top it. I was like, okay, well, shit. Now I'm gonna get a laptop. You know, I didn't even have I had phones, yes, but I didn't have a phone, like a smartphone, until like age 20, and I'm glad, right? These kids, from the point that they're 3 years old, they already know how to play with a fucking iPad, a smartphone, a tablet, and like the joke that's parental controls and the parental security, they'll bypass that shit. They will literally bypass that shit so easily. It's not even funny. They will bypass it so quickly. It's such a joke, right? And I just see them and I'm like, yo, life is gonna, I don't even know what the fuck life is gonna be for them at this point. Cause like, I'm not even 30 years old yet. And I'm looking at these kids like stuck to screens like all the fucking time. Like, so like they'll be at home, they'll be on the screens. I guess they do go play, I guess, once in a while. Like, the ones who really get to play are the really young kids, right? They're the ones who are constantly running around and everything. But like, the moment you become like, let's say 8, 9, 10 years old, you know, all your friends have smartphones or tablets or laptops, and they're all on YouTube watching fucking Jake Paul or some shit, or they're on Twitch, you know, or they're playing Roblox. Oh yeah, they love fucking Roblox, right? And this stuff is it's all right, right? But it's not a replacement for actual human interactions, right? The fact that we could sit around with my friends and just remember the days of having to use like a video tape, a video cassette, yeah, video player, because I'm even forgetting the fucking names. Like, I still have floppy disks in my house, and I still have DVDs, right? To remember all this stuff, it's just crazy that everything has moved so quickly within the past 20 years, and we're not any better off for it, emotionally or mentally, right? Or spiritually, really. We're not. You can say you have a really good interactions with people online and everything, but you know it's a substitute for social interactions, right? And it's a pretty shitty one at that. What's even shittier, though, is interacting with actual people now. It's insufferable. It's fucking insufferable. Like, that's why I laugh at you, because I see that people are doing the dumbest fucking shit. And it's like they already have some pre-planned excuses for why they're doing the dumb shit that they're doing. Just to cope, just to get by, bro. So I'm gonna have kids just to get by and laugh about it. You know, man, miss me with that shit. Really miss me with that shit. But yeah, this was a really disorganized rant. I might do a better one in the future. But yeah, you know, like when you think about why humor exists, just remember it is this. First of all, humor is the saddest emotion we have. Second of all, it's a coping mechanism. That's why it exists, right? It just exists to allow you to laugh at the fucking delusion, and hopefully like wake you up in a sense to like realize you should stop the delusion yourself, right? You should not be a participant in a next generation of handing the shit off to another human being, right? I would hope. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys.